She's stupendous, tremendous, colossal, terrifical. She's got it!
Hi, my name is Emily Bankert. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm a researcher at BPIE, the Buildings Performance Institute Europe. And with my colleague, we are responsible for policy exploitation within Open Lab. So fancy word, what does that mean? So I like to think of us as policy engineers. So we have the system policy, right? And we have this on EU level, on national, regional, and local level normally. So that's like regulation, policy strategies, maybe codes, etc. But this is normally for the existing things that we're doing in society. However, now in Open Lab, we are piloting the positive energy neighborhood. So we're having a lot of new technologies. We are doing things that are traditionally done on a building level, more on a neighborhood level. So the existing policy framework is not really adjusted to these kind of new ideas. So basically, we are going in and we are like, ooh, how do we need to tweak the policy system on these different levels? Maybe what new ideas do we need to bring in order to create a policy framework that can facilitate the rollout of positive energy neighborhood approaches beyond just Estonia, Spain, and Flanders, where we are doing our pilots, but across all EU member states. I think Open Lab has shown me how cool it can be to work on buildings. I mean, it also showed me how EU projects work, because honestly, you arrive in Brussels and you're like, Horizon Europe, what? But I like to think of Open Lab like a child, and this child is really innovative and intelligent and so curious and playful. And you're like, oh, how are you so cool? At the same time, it's clear that it needs a lot of tendering still and like care and empathy, because a lot of things also go wrong, or like in the end we work with people on the ground, right, that have their own needs and kind of cultural context, I guess. And so I think what it's really shown me for my professional career, if you want, is to better connect what we're doing in Brussels in our little metaverse with the actual impact on the ground. Maybe it's a cliche, but I think my parents have been my role models to arrive where I am now. I had the privilege to grow up around architects, or I don't know, maybe it's a curse. But my mom used to build a lot of like shelves with me, or like my bed. We would do the drawings, go to the construction store and get the wood, you know, and build the thing, and afterwards reflecting on, could we have done this without any screws in a more innovative way? And so I think very early on I was kind of brought up into this technical system thinking and like imagination, and I wanted to become a civil engineer at one point. But also I started engineering and I really like it, and I tried to really emancipate from that kind of field and became very politicized in more justice issues, which is then where my dad was really present and kind of influential. But when I arrived in Brussels to kind of start my career, I kind of had lost focus a little bit of either, of both. And then I was offered a position at BPIE, and I kind of felt like everything's coming together, and it's been in front of me so long, but I just needed time to see it, and now I'm working on buildings in a more systemic way. Yeah, here I am. I'm quite happy, so. Ooh, I'm old enough to give advice, okay. I'd say if you choose to go into STEM and you are read as a woman, there are chances you end up in a situation where you feel disempowered, patronized, or not taken serious. And I think it's important to remember that you might feel like that because you were socialized as a girl, and you were told to be in the background, to not speak up, to not be too loud, to be accommodating, you know. Take all of that and throw those overboard. You're amazing, and it's great that you choose a career to follow your talent and your dream. And you know, you should own that, and you should own that confidence. What I would say from our side, what we need more is people going into STEM that don't just have their little technical silo view, but actually understand the societal problems that we're trying to solve by applying our technical expertise. So it's not just the building system, right? But buildings are a means towards the service of housing to people. And this societal context always needs to be remembered when you ask yourself, who am I selling my expertise to? Who is benefiting from this intervention that I'm planning, and who was involved in the decision-making of the intervention that I'm planning? So I just say, if you can take courses outside of the STEM field, this can always be really valuable as well, to make sure that you are aware of the societal context within which you apply your expertise.